Hey everybody, welcome to Tim Untethered and another version of Dweller Talk, episode number 4. Now, this one was not planned at all, but I stumbled upon a personality here that you have to meet. And what I'll say is the only preface that I'll give you is that if you are new to van life, or if you're sort of on the fence, this is a person that you have to meet because I'm puzzled by her.
Oh,
I have a lot to learn.
So is everybody in life.
And you'll know why. So, hi.
Hi.
What is your name?
I'm Robyn Renner.
How long have you been on the road?
5 days.
5 days. Keep this in mind. On day 2, she pulls up next to our camp over here, and we introduced ourselves. So the very, very next day, you go to the pre-RTR. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people started pulling up in camp. She was all by herself. And then last night, 18 people around a campfire blowing flames out of their mouth into a fire. She's been on the road at that point 3 days, and I wanted to know how the hell that happened. So, hi.
I don't know how it happened.
Well, no, but I mean, you were...
Good luck happened.
Well, we were talking, and it didn't sound like... I mean, you've been on the road for 3 days. But what was curious to me is that you said that you had experience prior to that, but it wasn't in a van. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I was recovering from a traumatic brain injury and kind of depressed because I lost my career. A frozen food box fell on my head, and I was tired of sitting on the couch. And really, it's this dog. He was my personal dog, but he started warning me when I would have a seizure.
Okay.
So we got him certified as a service dog, thanks to my neurologist, and went through the proper steps. About 6 months later, I finally started trusting him that he was almost foolproof of giving me 30 minutes, like an alarm that, hey, you're going to have this. So I wasn't afraid to drive anymore.
So he had no experience with this at all either. He's just that's incredible.
But he does now because he went through all the certification and stuff. But I started trusting it where I got back into the car and wasn't afraid to drive. Because the last thing you want to do is have a seizure when you're driving. I decided to take a little weekend trip in my Prius, and it ended up being 3 months and half of the country.
So you slept in the Prius?
Yeah, really, I just put my duffel bag in an ice cooler, and I went.
And so how much time? How much notice does he give you?
About 30 minutes.
About 30. That's incredible.
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes if I'm lucky. But he starts poking me with his nose, and he gets right in my face.
You showed me earlier you had braces and everything.
Yeah. I still travel with them because once I do have a seizure, then your feet curl.
Right.
And then the nerve damage and the paralysis, it takes me a few days to recover. So my feet sort of drag after a seizure.
Well, you were telling me earlier too, though, that it was as you were traveling in the Prius, you started to feel better and more empowered.
Day 2, I was like, oh my gosh, my headache is gone and I could walk. And, by the first week, I wasn't even relying on the braces.
Right.
I took a road trip just to get away because I was so depressed. And I came home like, I'm going to buy a van and we're going to do this forever. The power of nature or power of, I don't know what I just felt great.
How much did you have any experience at all? Construction?
I'm a chef, so I knew culinary, chop, dice, saute.
Which explains the oven in the kitchen area for sure.
Hammers and drills and self-tapping screws. I had no idea.
Well, first of all, I think that you probably set a very high standard for somebody that has zero experience building. But
I think,
but I think that your method for getting there was really a critical part of you being able to feel empowered and have the skills to be able to do it. So how did you
you and YouTube come into play?
Just me and YouTube. That's all it took.
I mean, I literally had no idea. I knew I needed a van, so I bought a van. And then it was like, now what do I do with my van? So I watched every van build YouTube video that is in existence. one guy had a great idea for flooring and one guy had a great idea for ceiling. So I would do one step at a time. And it was like, okay, this is how I insulate and sound dampening, the rattle trap. I never heard of this stuff. What is rattle trap?
So you even know rattle trap, too.
But I got it, and it's in my van because somebody on YouTube did.
Not only did you, bookmark all of these or favorite all of these, you actually organized them by, insulation and, roof vent. And
when you save a video, I put it on, solar, kitchen, cabinet.
So you were completely
bed,
organized.
Flooring, insulation. So when I got to that step, I was done with my ceiling. What's my next step? It would be the flooring. So I would watch all the videos of flooring I saved. And in the morning, I would find the one that I wanted to kind of copy. And I would start the video and they do here's how you start your first plank. I do it and I pause my video. And then I play it, and then I pause it, and I play it. And I did this for 3 months, 8 hours a day until I finished.
The result is beautiful. I do have to say, though, that I can see the influence of Chrome.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Chrome, if you're watching
Chrome
this.
was the first person I found on when I was searching van builds.
And I'm sure that anybody who's familiar with Chrome and his build will recognize immediately probably the influence.
But he's changed all his now, so despite a brain injury, it just being a woman who didn't know what she was doing, I needed this is how you do step one. And Chrome didn't have the fancy refrigeration, he had an ice chest. Then I found, Bob Wells and all these others that are doing it, and I would just watch and watch and watch.
Well, aside from the effort that you put into it and all of that, you didn't spend that much on the build at all, did you?
I bought the truck for $1,800, and I spent probably $1,000. But I put on Facebook, I asked my friends if they had any spare wood in their backyard. And because really, I didn't think it was going to turn out. I didn't want to go out and spend on wood because I really didn't think anything would work. And my friend said, yeah, I got a pile, come get it. And, one of my friends had a whole garage full, and she's like, come get it. And so I did, and it's all plywood and donated.
Look, well, I'll tell you
wood.
what.
And I bought the oven, and I bought the Max Air fan.
Oh, you made all the right, clearly, you've done your homework.
There are things I had to buy, the ceiling and the, flooring, but I'm less than $1,000 in my van build.
Well, let's let them take a look at the van now, and then we'll come back and then we'll talk about how the heck you got all of these people together, and then also just a little bit about how you're feeling right now. Okay?
Great.
All right. Be right back.
Flying low under the radar, like a Nighthawk stealth plane, you are hiding out in the shadows, keeping from the light of day. Nobody should ever have to live that way. Hey now, it's okay now. You don't have to hide from the world no more. Hey now, it's okay now. It's your time to soar.
Part of what I was fascinated about, other than your biography, which is incredible to me, and the empowerment that you have to have, and sort of that inner badass to actually get this stuff done and move forward, is that you seem to be almost like an instant matriarch or something yesterday. And it was interesting to see somebody come out here on the road and who's been out here for 3 days and be able to feel free enough to be able to include other people and to be able to bring them into a circle and have that confidence. I had just done a video just a little while ago talking about how people need to say yes more as one of the ingredients to meet people.
Well, I probably watched that video and learned and
Well, but you
did what Tim said.
Yeah, but in your case, you weren't necessarily saying yes. You were telling people that there was a place to go, and you were bringing all of these people together.
I was the inviter of it. I think it was the comfort in this lifestyle is different from being back home. I mean, if you're in a parking lot back home, which I really was yesterday, Belinda was parked next to me, and she happened to come out. I would never start a conversation with a stranger in
Really?
a parking lot in LA. I would be fearful.
Well, I
and
guess
here
so.
is like, oh, hi, and you just start talking. There's a freedom out here that people are genuine, and they're non-threatening, and you have a comfort level of talking. I asked for directions to Parker with Susan, and she's like, well, where are you camp? And it's like, well, a bunch of us are gathered over in Palamosa, come on over. And so I got lucky that, it was like other people didn't know where to park either, and I didn't either, and we all kind of just magnet. It was a great catch.
I was amazed. We were over here because you spent the first campfire with us.
Yeah,
and then
which was fun.
and then the next night, it was just us, and we're looking over here, and there's like rigs everywhere, and there's fire going, and it was.
That was Belinda. That wasn't me, though.
Well, no, but
that came around with a good fortune.
we were talking there. We were just like, we're so proud of her. Look, it's like day 3, and look at what she's doing. This is incredible. But there was something that you told me earlier, some advice that you got from somebody else.
Well, my grandma had a saying, a closed mouth never gets fed. So if you don't ask, you're never going to find out. And I've kind of been that way all my life.
Yeah.
I've really hung on to that motto. So if you don't ask people, are you here for the WRTR or where are you guys camped? You're kind of missing out on. But
that was that was the spark, right? Once you sort of made that comment, it seemed like, okay, you made a connection with this individual, and these people over here overheard this, and it just all came together.
And I think one of the things in this, nomad world is we're all comfortable because it's fun. Back home, I said, I'm going to get a van. I'm going to turn it into where I'm going to travel and go spend majority of my time in my van. My family and friends don't get it. It's like, oh, just buy an RV and go to an RV park and stuff. They don't realize boondocking and to me, it's great out here. And I feel so comfortable. And these people that I was talking to in a parking lot get me better than
That's
people.
funny, isn't it?
Yeah. I just think creation works that way. There's a power there.
So what do you tell people who were like, how did you get started? How do I do this?
Go take a drive, and if you like it, and if it brings you that kind of comfort, I would say go to the next step, and then watch YouTubes and find out how to build your own. You can learn a lot on YouTube. A guy might know how to saw and use a jigsaw, and I didn't know what a skill saw was, and I did it with a skill saw, jigsaw.
Okay.
And
so you know all this stuff
impact
now.
drill.
Nice.
Those are the 3 things.
And
that
you even cut the hole in the top yourself and put your roof pin in and everything.
Yeah. And thank
It's
God I
amazing.
didn't screw that up.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was a scary moment, but it was fun. The more I started gutting it and starting my van build, I started exercise, and it one step led
It
to
just
another.
built, yep.
And the more I went into the van build, the healthier I got. And pretty soon, I'm lifting the countertop that weighs 100 pounds and putting it on myself. And it was like, wow, this is incredible. And then it was like, oh, I'm done.
So it was therapy before you even left. It helped you.
It kind of naturally progressed that way.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Look, I got to tell you, I'm so glad I met you. It was so funny. Like I said, we were sitting over there and just thinking, we're so proud of her. Look at her. It was just amazing. And just proof that, oftentimes when you leave, it's not a matter of, I'll enjoy this in 3 or 4 or 5 months. You can thrive immediately.
Oh, I think half the people the new friends that I've met here, they all felt better the moment they got in the car and started driving. Yeah. Whether it's in a van, a car, an RV, it's the freedom of, I'm letting my crap behind me and I'm moving forward.
Somewhere else, yep.
And that is very empowering in life. There is some kind of joy, in being able to say, I like it here, I'm going to stay or go to the next pretty spot. There's beautiful land.
Absolutely.
And it brings a peace when you're out here.
Look, I'm not making this stuff up.
Yeah,
right?
no,
right.
no.
Well, I appreciate everything. I'm looking forward to camping with you for the next couple of days.
Yeah, sure.
But I thank you for doing this.
Do you want me to go get more friends?
if there's room.
Or more vodka for spitting.
Yeah, that was probably the worst part of this whole thing is the residual taste of that vodka in my mouth after that.
It wasn't good vodka, but it
was
has
a good time.
But
Yeah.
maybe we should do Grey Goose or something next time.
All right, so
it was fun.
bring Grey Goose the next time. And yeah, you're welcome
Yeah.
to the campfire. We'll see you all later. Bye now. Hey everybody, I hope that you had a wonderful time watching this episode of Dweller Talk with Robyn and I. There are, however, a couple of things that did not make it into this episode that should have been there. The first one is regarding the playlist that we talked about. Now, these are the playlists that she created on YouTube to help her stay focused in the van build that she had done. And, specifically, these were like, how to insulate or her favorite layouts. I think there was probably 8 or 10 different playlists that she had created that were critical in her staying organized. Anyway, she's published those or made public those various playlists. So if you're building your own van and you want to see what she's compiled so far, maybe it can help you stay organized. Take a look at the description below and there will be a link there so that you can take a look at what she's done. More importantly is what she's working towards now. Now, as we already know, she is a TBI survivor/thriver, and she is also an accomplished chef. And she wants to marry those two things together by providing very special higher-end meals for people with TBIs. And, it doesn't make any difference if you are a nomad or a traditional sticks and bricks. She wants to do something special and also provide some welcome conversation. So I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was a brilliant idea for some very special people who I'm sure would be most appreciative. Anyway, thank you, Robyn. It was a real pleasure and an honor to camp with you. I hope we get to do it again soon. And for the rest of you, again, I hope that you liked this episode of Dweller Talk. We will see you all later. Bye now.